Tuesday, December 13th, 2022, 7 PM. And I'd like to call the Town of Lake Mills Town Board monthly meeting to order.
I'll make a motion to adopt the December agenda, amended agenda.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Approval, all right, we've got 3 sets of minutes. Let's get can we get a motion to approve the public hearing 2023 proposed budget to order minutes on November 15th, 2022.
So I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes for the public hearing in the town of Lake Mills at 7:11 PM, the same date, November 15th?
I will make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And can we get a motion to approve the minutes for the town of Lake Mills Town Board meeting on November 15th?
Make a motion to approve the minutes printed.
Second.
Favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Can we get a motion to approve the treasurer?
First, we have to approve an amendment, right?
Yeah.
Yep, there's an amendment.
Make a motion to approve the amendment on the disbursements for November from $47,884.62 to $48,384.62.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 2023 treasurer's report.
Second.
Any other discussion?
I just want to bring to your attention that in January, the CD is due. So at the next board meeting, I'll bring something from the bank that tells what the interest rates are,
Okay.
because it's due on January 22nd, the CD.
Sounds great. We have to put that in the future meeting then.
Making a note.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Yeah. Any expense sheets?
Not this time.
Not this time. Approval of the general fund voucher motion.
I'll make a motion to approve December disbursements of $141,973.25.
I would second that motion.
Discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question on the Jefferson Highway Department for Shore Acres Road. Is that partial?
That is the difference between we exhausted our 17,000 that was in the kitty.
So that road was on.
That was the balance of 92.
I think it was 27,000.
Yeah,
So
it
that
was
was total,
27,000.
total cost.
Right, so this is beyond, they already gave us the credit of the,
17.
Yeah, I knew that was coming, but I thought we were looking at a $45,000 project.
No, it came out a lot. Well,
Oh, that's what,
like pending no other invoices, it came out a lot less.
right. It doesn't sound like, because I actually talked to them, because they had to send that amended one, the updated one, because they didn't calculate something they had told me about.
He's
So-
pretty, I mean, Brian's pretty efficient.
Yeah.
well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Reports, police report. Bob, you're on.
The police report for November, I'm gonna take a little time here. There was 10 complaints and follow-up complaints. 2 traffic repair notices, 2 traffic citations, 2 ordinance citations, 3 park checks, the one special event, which I believe was the Tyrena
Right.
run down there. And that's what's on the report.
Okay. Thanks, Bob. Plan Commission report.
No report, no meeting. Just one comment though. Our comprehensive land use plans is due in 25, so we should really start plan commission working on that so we have something to do.
I have asked
Keep
Steve
busy.
that, so I think I'll remind him again that we should probably start working on
All
that.
right. That's it.
Especially in off times.
Yeah, when we don't have any meetings.
Right.
Cambridge Fire and EMS report.
Nothing to report.
Joint Rock Lake Committee meeting. When?
No report.
Just what's filed?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to read that, Robin?
No, I think that, was that a copy of last month's
That was
Yeah,
a copy
report?
of
I
last
looked back.
And they didn't have a meeting this,
We didn't meet this.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thanks. Town chairman report, city, county, state, and roads. Not much to report. The road stuff, we'll get to a little bit later in the agenda to look at some existing funds that we decided not to use already, but we'll revisit that. Me and Brian went out and looked at a couple of small sections and he thought it would be favorable for us to spend that money and get the money transferred into just a small little project that the county could hammer out for us in the spring. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Haven't heard much out of the city. As far as public works, I just sat through part of that tonight. They were talking about yard waste compost and trying to figure out what they're going to do, if they're going to continue it, if they're going to find a new site. I think the moral of the story was they're going to try to come up with a short-term solution and look at a longer-term solution that maybe cooperates with townships as well. Seemed that our towns got blamed a lot for dumping over there. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm sure it comes in from all over because those things are so hard to enforce. But there may be something we can do. And then they're also looking at trying to find a suitable wastewater treatment site, but there's a lot of information that's got to go into that yet because they don't even know essentially what kind of facility they're going to build yet, and they're looking at some new technology too. So that's using that front. That's all I have.
did you want to mention anything about the snow plowing, not pushing snow across the road or?
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Yeah, it's really important not to do that, to push snow across the road or more importantly, push it into the road and leave it there because that's dangerous as well for vehicles.
And it's actually against state statutes.
Absolutely, yeah. It's in the road right away, so keep snow on your own property. And the only other thing too is we never got circled back, I guess, as long as I'm on that subject, to Brian. I know Jason did go over to the county for that session with his crew, and I did talk to Brian and Jason about it, and at some point we'll probably have both of them come in here, maybe in January, while it's winter. I just kind of discussed that a little bit, but I think it's going to be rather tricky to do, just because of the usage of the roads. When you brine them, you need usage, and there's only a few spots in there, probably township, that get high usage. Short Hills neighborhood probably getting the most. So, I mean, but we'll let them kind of hash through that so you can kind of hear everything, but we'll circle back to that. All right, Parks Committee report, they did not meet this month. Town Hall Facilities Committee.
So we worked on finalizing the conceptual drawings, which I think we're pretty much honed in on now. We're working on getting estimates to create a total amount for the taxpayers to understand what the impact of their bills would be. As far as what they would be considering to possibly approve for a new town hall facility. We're discussing creating a very simple survey for feedback from the town residents or electors, which should be posted to the website. We would like the feedback. We are planning an open house presentation in January, and it sounds like it's tentatively Tuesday, January 24th. Am I getting that date right? Okay. Be in the evening, again, an open house style, so you can come in, ask questions, review what the conceptual drawings are. And the members of the committee and our architect will be there to answer questions. So watch out for the information about the survey and then the information about the open house coming up on the website. We'll try to send something out to the newspaper too.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Robin. Okay, period of public comments. This is the time for the general public if they want to speak on behalf of a subject that doesn't necessarily have to be on the agenda. This is the time to do it. Please come to the podium, state your name, your address, affiliation, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes. And if there are concurrent comments that are along the same lines, just concur in the interest of time. Is there any public comment tonight?
Can I talk about the intergovernmental agreement if it's on the agenda?
You won't be able to talk unless you're called upon, so if you have some public comment that you want to talk about right now, that'd be the time to do it, yes.
So I'm Terry Johnson, a member of the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department. I was the chief. I got replaced last night, so
Oh,
I didn't rerun for the chief job, but I'm here to talk about the intergovernmental agreement. In the near future, your municipal board will receive a proposal amended to the intergovernmental agreement for your review from the Cambridge Community Fire and EMS Commission. The amendment creates a position hired and appointed by the commission of a full-time EMS fire chief to oversee the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department and the Cambridge EMS. Currently, the position of fire chief is annually elected by the Cambridge Volunteer Fire Department membership. We are in opposition to this proposed amendment. The CFD call volume is 180 to 200 calls per year, which does not warrant a full-time chief and the extra cost to the district that this would require. We are currently, as volunteers, get paid very little and are satisfied as this is our contribution to the community. The amendment was put together without any input from the CFD. We attended the meeting and were not permitted to ask questions or comment. The commission sat with their backs to the CFD members and the fire chief and would not recognize us. The disrespect shown to the fire department is unacceptable. The current IGA section 2.1.1.e requires the commission to receive the fire chief's advice in all matters germane to the district's technical operations. To have no input in this matter is disrespectful and shakes the very foundation of the fire department. We have found no commission minutes authorizing the preparation of the proposed amendment. The amendment was presented at the commission meeting and after very little discussion was approved. This was also unacceptable as this should have been brought back to the individual municipalities for discussion and the CFD should have been contacted prior to approval. We are in opposition to the commission taking away the election of the fire chief. No disrespect to the commission members, but they have never responded to an emergency call or had any experience in emergency response. And to give them the ability to determine our chief is unacceptable. We believe the commissioners who originally wrote up the IGA realized this and came to the conclusion that the CFD membership would best determine the fire chief. We are a volunteer department, and to bring a person unfamiliar with our personnel and equipment would be unacceptable. Our office staff are firefighters who have spent many years on the department and know the strength and weakness of our individual firefighters and can take this into consideration on the fire ground. To have someone in charge unfamiliar with the firefighters is potential for injury or worse. We are concerned the appointment of the chief would could get a better offer from another emergency service which they could not refuse and leave, causing the process of getting a new chief to begin again. Our office staff are members who have been on the CFD for many years and are entrenched in the department and community, leading to a stable situation. It takes years for a member to proceed up the ladder from the firefighter to officer to chief officer position. The positions are earned. The EMS was formed back in the 1970s. We had individuals who did not want to join the fire department but wanted to volunteer as EMT. Were an extremely important addition to the emergency services and were very competent in the medical care required by our area residents. The two separate organizations have worked very well since that time together. The commission will indicate many fire and EMS departments are consolidating. They normally have, which they are doing, but they normally have the fire department assuming control of the EMS side. Many areas are not consolidating, Deerfield, Marshall, Cottage Grove, Stoughton, Verona, and Fitchburg as examples. To this day, the CFD and the EMS have worked very well alongside each other, helping out when needed. The implication and consequence of the amendment financially and on the human side are considerable. We have volunteers we would have volunteers leaving the CFD. The last 2 years have been a real struggle at the CFD. The 2021 referendum was denied. Our second assistant chief, Randy North, passed away. The 2022 referendum was denied, and now the proposed amendment to take away our chief. Our chief has always been available 24/7 to our members for any support they might require. It would be very difficult for a combined chief who does not live in the district to fulfill that role. I believe sometime in the future, unknown when, there will be a discussion of the consolidation of the Cambridge Fire Department with the Deerfield Fire Department and consolidation of the Cambridge EMS with Deer Grove. It is unknown how the proposed amendment would affect this. The Deer Grove EMS presented a proposal to the commission back in October of 2021, which has saved a considerable amount of money. The proposed amendment is unacceptable. We need to find out what this would cost and the possible ramifications on the volunteers of the fire department. We need to step back at this time, work together to review this so we come up with a conclusion and a solution that will work for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
And then I have we had another one person come by, but he had to go to the Cambridge Village. And I do have a statement from him. Would you like that, or?
You could submit it,
Submitted.
yeah. Yeah, we have it for the record,
Yep.
and I can copy it and have
So
a copy.
that's the kind of copy that I said, and his is on the back.
Okay, this is identified, oh yeah, it does, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So who got elected a new chief?
I'm Joe Evans.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay. Good.
You're familiar with him, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully we can have your support if something comes up with me. I think one of the reasons of this agreement, the amendment, was that they weren't happy with who we were going to pick for chief, so.
Oh. Okay. Bless you.
Is there anyone else for public comment tonight?
Tom Murphy, Lake Mills EMS. Just wanted to point out, I don't know how many of you have been following the city's meetings lately. On last Tuesday, they had a council meeting and they had a McMahon Consulting came in and gave a presentation. They are recommending that the city move toward full-time EMS and fire and stuff. They're proposing a budget of just shy of 700,000 for people, not including any other operating expenses at this point. Just wanted to point that out. There is a work session on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. You might be interested in attending that and stuff if you're not aware of it. I think that is a public meeting. Yeah. Yeah, you may not get to speak, but you can
Listen.
at least be present and be available if they have a question.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm planning to do, is just attend that.
Yeah.
Thursday at 6.
I don't know if you saw my email, Tom?
Yes, I did. I just.
Okay. We kind of reiterated that we propose to join the city as a separate department. and continue more as along the lines of a volunteer service and stuff. So we've made a proposal, presented our case, and depends on what comes out of the work session, I guess.
Yeah, well, what's unfortunate is that, they've completely gone against what all the towns that were sitting at the table that night, wanted to be involved in this process. We obviously have not been.
I fully understand your displeasure with that.
Well, it's
I
just,
know
it's
you-
really
you've
unfortunate,
expressed that
because
to me.
we're a community and, I
Yes.
just don't I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just my personal opinion.
Do you have that email that you can share with the other board
One
members?
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can forward it. I just
Anytime you have
actually
a
read it.
communication, it helps if you send it to me as well, so I
Yeah,
can get it to
okay.
the other guys.
I was kind of doing this last minute, and
We'll do it right now. Back online.
I'll stick around for a little bit of the other discussions. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them as best I can. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I can't do this
Okay.
after late. Let's get it.
That's fine.
All right, anyone else for public comment tonight? Nope. All right, moving on, applications.
Never done.
None. Old business, discussion or decision of status of Lake Mills EMS services. We have this table, but
If you want to
Maybe
discuss
take it-
anything, take it off the table.
yeah, I think we need to take it off the table just to discuss a few things.
Yeah, because I'd like to
Especially
get more,
if it's easier.
yeah, I want to get more. I make a motion that we take the Lake Mills EMS services status off the table.
Second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. It's on the table.
I want to hear more about what your proposal was. If you could, if you like sharing.
We had some conditions that we presented to Steve Welke back in March. And that mostly enticing our people to stay with the EMS. And that most of our people, for varying reasons, aren't particularly enthusiastic about joining the fire department and working over there. Some of it's kind of a logistical. They have not been overly receptive to hiring or bringing in people from outside the community. A number of our people do live in Madison or other places and work with us. A lot of our people have other full-time careers, work with the EMS as kind of a part-time gig, hobby, possibly. But they have no interest in joining the fire department as a full-time position. And so we gave some of these as, we offered to join the city as a separate department with rules and that guiding that particular department, not necessarily following what the fire department has and stuff.
So then you would be city employees? Or would you be contract?
No, it would be we'd become part of the city.
Okay.
So any contract negotiations, then you people would have to negotiate with the city. And that we would strictly provide, our people would come over, work under that new department. We would probably bring some of our equipment and that. And stuff.
So did you have any costs figured into your suggestion at all?
Our cost would probably run about what it runs now.
So
I think at some
that's
point, we're
25-ish.
gonna have to hire maybe one or two full-time EMTs.
Right.
So that's gonna add maybe $100,000 to our budget, which is about, $100,000 is about $10 per capita we're still probably looking at somewhere in the like mid-20s. If, depending on how things work out and who we hire. And that, I think our proposal for you guys this year for the last 6 months, or the first 6 months of 2023 was $17 per capita. That's not,
That was- Yeah.
we've been,
No, that's right. It was
I may
20.
have-
I think it was 20, but that's all right.
Yeah, it was 15 and was going to
It
2.
was going to 20, but that's okay.
I think we had talked about it, if, assuming we were going to continue on.
Yeah.
And
And you'd operate out of the same building that you do now?
I don't know about that. We never got that far into
Oh,
it
okay.
to iron some of these things out.
Sure.
Steve wasn't particularly receptive to that idea, I don't believe. I'm kind of wondering now that they found out what it's really gonna cost, are they going to be more receptive to talking to us about that? I would hope so. As a taxpayer in the city, I definitely hope so.
You guys are gonna operate through June, it's 23.
Yes, yes.
So I think.
We still need to do a little beating or negotiating to get a little bit of help out of the fire department, but right now we're getting by.
That cost would go to you guys though, from us, right? Correct. Through June.
For that first 6 months, yes.
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 So,
Which needs to be invoiced.
Okay.
so I think.
Have you been getting invoices? Not, I know we're sending them to some of the townships. I will talk to Derek and get him to start sending those. And I know I still owe you some of that contract stuff too.
So your service is intermediate now, correct?
Correct.
And if you go city would be starting
Well,
at basic.
it's advanced EMT.
Okay, and
I think there is a difference between advanced and intermediate in the state.
and if city took it over, they would be starting at basic.
They are talking about hiring advanced EMTs. They want to hire 6 advanced EMTs full-time to be able to run at the advanced level. I think they are applying for a flex license, which allows them, as long as, if they have advanced EMTs, they can run as advanced.
Oh, okay.
If they don't happen to have one, they can still run as a basic service.
Aren't they really talking 6 EMTs and 1,
Yes,
yeah,
one chief
yeah.
or he's a captain.
I don't think
The
there's
full-time-
anything set in stone.
No, it's that's, yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. It was 6 EMTs, 6 working EMTs, and then a captain that I think is supposed to be filling in also.
Okay.
Cause I
And they're
said,
supposed to be, all of those are cross-trained as fire and EMS. And I think their plan is to borrow. If they need, if they get a fire call, they're gonna borrow some of their EMTs to go on the fire call. I have a little bit of a problem with that, and I spoke about that at the city council meeting. I don't understand how they're gonna do that and still have an ambulance available if they need it. That's the advantage of having a separate department. That ambulance is always there dedicated.
well, I think they're still at ground zero because the meeting I came out with, the new manager, Mr. Waters, was essentially, they were kind of waiting to see what's coming down the pipe with this consultant. Cause they really don't know. I mean, they think they kind of know a direction, but like they said, I mean, they could be shooting over here and the consultant comes back over here. So I don't know I don't think any of us know what that picture's
Well,
gonna
I know what the consultant recommended now the other night.
be. Right.
So they
Well, I
know
don't think
what
that
that
was a
is.
surprise. I don't think that was a surprise.
I don't believe so either.
No. But yeah,
Yeah, I think this work session may bring out a lot of discussion on which direction they're going to try to proceed. I think the fire department really wants this. or at least the management of the fire department does. My problem is I can't force the people from the EMS to want to go over and work there.
Well, that's their own independent decision.
Yeah. And most of them just aren't interested in being firefighters and that, and the proposal was to have cross-trained firefighter EMTs that they're hiring. I think they want everybody to be cross-trained firefighter EMTs, even if you're a volunteer.
Well, as far as your services, I mean, we need their services for the first 6 months, and you're budgeting for that. So I think we can make a decision on that tonight, Gail. We're gonna use it for the first couple
We
months.
already,
Or
We
month.
already made-
Oh, we
we
did
already
make
made
it.
that.
All right, well, then we can take this.
So Robin, were they gonna be invoicing for the month or for the 6 month?
I would have to look back, I thought the motion was per month, what's
Per
that?
month, that's what I thought, yeah.
Per-
Yeah, because we,
We are saying
Yeah,
we're
well,
gonna work on a month-to-month basis, and so we could do it on a monthly basis.
Yeah,
I will get Derek to do that and start invoicing you.
because I usually start bills in time to have them ready for tonight's meeting, so first of the month I should be receiving it.
we left this on here because in the next 6 months.
Well, to
we
keep
have
it visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to Try to make a decision on what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
What-
Okay,
Well, I think this,
Cambridge.
and I'm just trying to bring you folks what I
Yeah, I
know
know,
at this point,
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
appreciate
which isn't a
that.
lot more than what you guys do.
just table it.
well, the language is gonna be different. I mean, because it's gonna be probably city we're gonna be dealing with, not Lake Mills EMS.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. That's why I'm wondering if we should just drop it off for now. And we kind of know we have to address it because we only have services through June, so.
Okay.
Make sure it's on your ongoing list of
Yeah.
agenda items to
Yeah.
cross-check.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we remove it.
And if something evolves, like even on your end, then.
yes.
Yeah, you gotta let us know.
Well, I've been trying to keep you up to date on what I know.
So make sure she gets it though.
Okay.
That's the big thing.
She
Because
gets it.
then it gets all, we get all.
And that's not last minute.
I'm pretty sure I got your email address.
Yeah,
Or I can get it off of the website.
because I try to get information to them in a manner so that they can review it before a meeting, so the afternoon of the meeting is a little late.
That's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
2 or
Yeah, I
3 days
understand.
prior would be the deadline.
Because we all have jobs, except, well,
And,
Right. Jim had started a motion over
Yeah, I'll
here.
make
Yeah,
a
I'll
motion.
second that
No,
motion.
I'm not done. I always make, I got in.
I thought you finished it.
sorry.
In my head I did. I'll make a motion to remove it from the agenda and bring it back at a future time when needed.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
and I do apologize for being a little bit absent for the last few meetings, but your meetings have been corresponding with the city council meetings, and I felt that it was more important to be over there and know what's going on. Not that you guys are any less important, just
No, we understand.
so.
Yeah, I got
All
the
right.
same issue with Public Works, so it's on the same night.
Mhm.
All right,
Well, thank you.
thanks, Tom. Discussion or decision of proposed land acquisition of Southland and Foster Road. Okay, so I've got a number for it's called Single Source. They basically are a group that the county, Jefferson County has used in the past that carries this whole process through. You know, from the remainder here on out. So they would come in and do the appraisal. Then we would write the letter of what we want to offer to the, you know, for the land, or what that recommendation is. And then after that, they carry the rest of the, you know, essentially the process through, because my speculation is that it's probably gonna get messy. And they're professionals and they've dealt with all scenarios before. What I don't have is a cost. I can bring that to the January meeting or have some kind of rough estimate, but I'm sure that's gonna be kind of difficult, knowing the length of the process it might be. So I don't know if you wanna change your mind then, and cross it, a rail up over there. Because it could be, you know, it could be somewhat painful. price wise, and it's definitely gonna go over what we get.
Think it's gonna go over 40,000?
Well, I mean, there's
That's
a
what's
lot of
left in
work,
there.
there's a lot that's gotta be done.
Between the cost of the land itself and the process
And there
costs.
could be court
The
battles,
land costs
litigation.
ain't gonna be nothing.
Like you said, it's the,
Once
The
it
court
gets
part.
appraised, it's not gonna,
You think it'll be straightforward?
no, I said the cost of the land is not gonna be the big issue.
No, that's
that's
not,
gonna be
that's
minimal.
not, that's not gonna
It's the attorney fees that are
be, it's gonna be the consultant fees and getting through the process. Otherwise, we're hacking through the process, and if we make mistakes, then we have a major legal battle on our hands.
Well, what are we, we're not liable? Or anybody rolling off that?
Corey said no. He said if push came to shove, like, yes, could anybody sue anybody at any time? Yes, but would you be liable? Probably.
The only other concern I have is that the road, you know, it's already starting to fall away on the shoulder. I mean, you could see the water is,
From the settling and everything.
yeah, well, it's always been a problem because
Yeah.
there's a drop off 2 feet from the edge of the pavement, so it doesn't take much and the shoulder's gone and then you gotta fill it back in. It's just a maintenance issue. You gotta keep ahead of it.
I think the worst trouble is every time it's been filled in, it's been filled in with fine material. We need to go to bigger rock. Or a strip of concrete.
Well, maybe we should look at that before we make a decision. Have Corey give some suggestions on what else could be done.
Well, I mean,
Stabilize the bank.
because we went with a 4-to-1 slope, and I mean, if
I know.
you've seen those 4-to-1 slopes, I mean, you can roll a vehicle on those things too. I mean, it's over there, it's a big hills. So
Well, you're not gonna get a guardrail, no matter
Yeah.
how you do it. So,
And part of that T intersection was to eliminate the risk of people going around the curve and losing control and going off. So the T intersection should definitely help that. So, I don't know, I drive around, I look at some of our reconstructed roads in our county and that's tame compared to a couple spots I see.
well, make a suggestion before we go that route. Talk to Corey again and have him look at it and see. Maybe we can put some of those bridge signs up that, you know, at least notify people that it's narrow.
do you want a
You know,
motion
the
for
ones.
that?
I'll make a motion to have Corey look into it to figure out a way to stabilize the bank with a bigger rock or whatever.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on. Discussion or decision of possible change in the Cambridge EMS service for the town of Lake Mills. We didn't have any other report.
No, other than they were gonna kinda look at the cost a little bit, but in that, nothing.
Discussion or decision or recommendations regarding the AS Citizens Monitoring Group. So I went through this document. Wendy's here tonight, so that's good. And thanks for your efforts on this, because the majority of it looks really good.
The change you, I'm sorry.
The first section needs to be reworked, just because we are a government entity, and your committee is a government entity. And, you know, the first thing says drafted by JRLC, RLIA, well, they're an independent organization. So we need to have some kind of separation between the two groups. So I can work on this with you a little bit, but I think we need to revamp, you know, that top section a little bit, and because really the RLIA should be giving everything to you guys, reporting everything to your committee, and your committee reports because you're advisory to the town board.
Right, and that was the intent, and I do understand that it needs to be reworked, because really the Joint Rock Lake Committee kind of drafted it, but in conjunction with Rock Lake Ideas,
Sure.
we wanted to assign them to run the program, because the county kind of has the program already,
Correct.
so.
Yeah, and you would be
So, yeah.
essentially oversight.
Right, and that's exactly how we intended it to be, so, yeah, we could take a look at it, and, yeah, I could use, to reword it, but it's a good program. And the last, one thing you did ask was who's responsible. At the
I'm
bottom
sorry, I
of-
forgot to unsave it. My bad.
at the bottom of the first page, it says
Oh, yeah.
actionable findings.
Too late.
In that little area, those three points there kind of says the person that's responsible is, well, the person that finds the issue reports it to the county, they document it, and then the county will give us a plan of action to be given to the appropriate, owner of the property, which would either be the city or the town. And then you would make a decision as to,
Can we get a motion to take this off the table?
Make a motion to take this discussion off the table.
Second.
Little
All
late.
in favor, say aye.
It's on the-
That's my bad. I didn't see it. I wish that was in full. It's late at night here. So anyways, yeah, that, I think if we just go back to that, then.
Yeah.
I have a comment on item 3, which you just mentioned that you report to the landowner or the municipality. And then, so in other words, if it's in the town of Lake Mills on our property, town's property, we would be responsible for removing it, the abatement costs?
you would be, the idea is you'd be responsible to make the correction, but you still have the decision to not do the correction if you choose not to.
Okay.
Because you're getting the recommendation from the county that says, this, plant should be removed and disposed of in this manner, and we want you to do it, but in the end, it's the property owner's decision.
One thing I'm gonna mention from a records keeping standpoint, who's keeping all the records, all this communication between the different organizations as well as all this communication to landowners and such, because that has to happen.
It's coordinated through the county, and
Okay.
it goes into Marissa, the land and,
Okay.
whatever the department, conservation of the land department.
Doesn't say
Yeah, so she's the one that makes sure it's
Should.
put into the right databases. I don't know all the acronyms, but there are certain databases that it has to be put into.
And I think that should be clarified in here where that information's being kept.
Yeah.
Even working on documents together with Arila, all of that information you guys are sharing amongst the group, that's all town record. So I'm hoping someone within Joint Rock Lake Committee is keeping these records. They should be shared so they can be put into the files.
And so the things that Marissa's keeping on file, we need to have you keep on file also.
As you're working on creating documents like this,
Oh, okay.
even like if Ryla's sharing information with you, like giving you a chart during your Joint Rock Lake meetings or any of that becomes town record.
Right.
So we need to have that information, and I don't feel like that's been shared that often with this group.
Yeah, and they should be giving that to you. And obviously, we should have a copy of it.
Okay.
Right, just to make sure that we're keeping track of the discussions that are occurring to create these types of processes and these programs, so that when we look back at how this was created, we have that record.
Never hurts to have the town clerk CC and everything.
Yeah, not that I don't need all that, but
Rule of
yeah,
thumb.
you try, she does, yes. But the outside organizations,
Yeah, the outsides fail to do that. That's
Yeah.
what it gets hard to catch that after a while,
Right.
because you get used to it.
Well, I'll talk to you, Reverend. I have some
Yeah.
questions about this particular document.
okay,
So I'll get with you and see if I get that cleared up in my mind.
Well, can we get a motion to have them rework this document?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that you rework this document with Tom's assistance and bring it back next meeting. Or
Second.
a future meeting.
In the future,
Future meeting.
seconded by Dave. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, discussion or decision. Thanks, Wendy, for your hard work on this. Discussion or decision of proposal to create an ordinance regulating chickens. This just needs to go.
yeah, I have some questions, because obviously we're creating a new ordinance here. Now, the numbers that are on your copy, the 4-2, that was just placeholders. That's not the numbers we want to use, because that's actually for a different ordinance. So where in our ordinance book should this fall? Which,
527.
527? Okay. So anything that says 4.2 is gonna change to 5.27 and then the reference numbers. That was my first
Okay,
big hiccup. I just didn't want to change all that because it changed the format of the actual document.
gotcha.
That's all. We
Oh,
had
okay.
more details on things.
First one, contents, purpose, to create regulations for the keeping of chickens, period. The rest
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah, that itself populates
I know.
there
Well-
in the document, so
I'll give you this too.
I'll follow along too here.
That just changes. Keeping of chickens.
Yep.
Number 8, minimum of, that's, you got this little space in there, 48 inches. Oh, it's space.
Yep.
Oh, typo.
Yeah.
Number 11, town noise, noxious odors, and all other standards found. Take out R.
Okay,
AR. Number 14, coops shall be at least 3 square feet in area per chicken. It doesn't have to be a hen because roosters aren't allowed.
it's twice in there,
Plus
okay.
chicken is a chicken. And at least 10 square feet in area per chicken.
Yep,
Number abatement of public nuisances relating to, add to, the
okay.
regulation of keeping chickens well be assessed.
Will be assessed?
Yeah, WILL, be assessed, take out all.
Got it, okay.
Cost of abatement, shall, not will,
Yep, got it.
be assessed.
So do you want to
I
kind
did,
of
I-
recap what this says? Because, you know, obviously the public's not aware of what the details of this are. You know, what is,
It's an ordinance to control the housing of chickens up in residential areas, R1 and R2 areas only. All other areas of town, livestock is allowed per county ordinance or zoning. So it creates some minimums, maximum space requirements, house chickens.
the maximum
And
number
then-
is 4?
Number of chickens is 4. Is it 4?
Four.
4. Okay,
I see another hen chickens in there. I'll take the hen out.
okay.
Yep.
And then goes through the abatement and refers it to the town ordinance, public nuisances for the restrictions on noise, odor, everything else.
Doesn't allow them to sell the
Eggs.
eggs
Not sell the eggs at your
resident.
residence anyway. And Tom says there's beginning to become an issue up in Shelby.
Well, the rooster's gone.
The rooster's gone.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
the
just-
rooster's gone and now the hens are disappearing and there's chicken parts being found in somebody's yard.
Oh.
No, so the coyotes are having fun.
Somebody's getting in the pen, I guess.
Exactly where that is.
But they get dragged into the someone else's yard. That's the problem. So you get heads and legs and everything. So that's not fun. You got dogs or whatever.
The other thing it does is you, and which is present state law, that you need to register
Register with DADCAP.
Yep, with
Yep.
AdCap.
Yep.
They need a premises registration for any livestock kept.
Right.
Yep,
I'm sure people aren't doing that, so
probably not.
that requires that too.
So right now we've got a draft going. Next would be getting the draft finalized and holding a public hearing for people to come in and give their opinion on this.
Yep.
Go forward to adoption of the C.
Do you want the attorney to look at this before? While you final, when you get the.
Yeah, I'll get this cleaned up. It's up to you guys.
Is there any other ones we're sending in right now? Or soon?
Unless you send in the joint rock lake one,
That'll
the other
probably
one
be
that's
January.
pending.
Maybe January. So I don't know, we just wait and send them in together maybe.
Yeah, then the records one was one that was already a sample ordinance from the WTA, so that, I don't feel that one needs to go to our attorney, because it's already been gone through by several attorneys.
Okay, yep.
Right now,
Correct.
that one needs public hearing.
Right, yeah, that one still needs a public hearing. I figured we'd kind of piggyback a couple of them
Okay.
again.
Okay.
So it's up to you if you think this needs to go to an attorney.
Well,
It doesn't probably have to, just because there was, I mean, it's probably, it's gone through, it's part of other ones that have probably gone through that
Right.
process, but.
yeah, I don't think the one that it was copied from does not reference any state statutes or anything that really need to be reviewed. It just references the section out of the Oconomowoc ordinance.
Right.
So I don't think it needs to be reviewed by the attorney for statute reasons. I make a motion that Robin make the corrections, bring it back to the next meeting as a draft or a public hearing. And then pass it up.
Second?
Favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision of resolution to adopt 2023 town fee schedule.
Robin made the changes on the salaries for the clerk and treasurer. The dollar per hour for the police department, sorry. And changed the recycling cost to $235 a month.
The emergency management director matched the chief's
Match the chief's
hourly.
salary.
Did you already say that one?
I didn't say that one. And then, I did, and it's not on here, but I just want to make a suggestion that
Mhm.
we look at raising the election workers sometime.
Before the next election.
Yeah.
You want
Because right
that?
now they're at, what, $7 an hour?
$8 and $10 for ones that went through the training for chief inspector.
Yeah.
You're proposing to go to what, 10 and 15?
Yeah, 10 and 15, I just made that suggestion. It was too late to do it, forgot all about bringing it up. So,
And I think next year our budget was kept the same, so we do have enough to consider that because we only have, hopefully only 2 elections next year. Unless there's a special election, it should only be 2. So it'd be a good year to start it off if we need to. We can put that on January's agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
so resolution, that's right.
Yes.
Read that.
Yeah. Resolution 2022-1213 Town of Lake Mills fee schedule. Whereas the Town of Lake Mills Board has determined that it is prudent to create and update periodically a general fee schedule and a building inspection fee schedules together shall be referred to as fee schedules to provide efficiency, economy, and uniformity in establishing and adjusting the fees charged by the Town of Lake Mills as enumerated throughout the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinances into an abbreviated general schedule and a building inspection schedule. And whereas the fees set forth in the fee schedules append the fees in the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinance, and whereas the fees set forth in the fee schedules may be added to or amended from time to time by adoption of a resolution. And whereas the town board shall review the fee schedules on at least an annual basis for the purposes of adjusting and updating the fees charged by the town, and any amendments or additions thereto may be made by resolution. And whereas the fee set forth in the fee schedule shall supersede any fee established elsewhere in the town's code of ordinance for the same charge. If a fee is set forth elsewhere in the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinance or via a resolution, and there is no corresponding fee set forth in the attached fee schedules, the fee set forth elsewhere in the Code of Ordinance or the resolution shall control until such time as a fee for the same charge is established in the fee schedules. And whereas the town gives the authority to collect fees outlined on the building inspection fee schedule on behalf of the town to the contracted building inspector, Chris Buchke of Safe Build LLC, or a designated substitute or replacement upon notice from Safe Build LLC. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Lake Mills Board approves the following fee schedules as defined in the attached schedules dated December 13th, 2023, and be effective upon passage of this resolution and posting of this resolution. Adopted December 13th, 2023.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-1213.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed,
One
nay.
sign.
Motion carries.
Just the one.
Yeah, just because it takes care of both.
Motion carries. All right, discussion decision to STP Road grant for Mud Lake Roads. I talked to Corey and talked to Brian about this, and there's not a lot of money in this thing, so Corey didn't think it would be worth our time to apply for $2 million.
How much? Like 5,000 or something is left?
No, this is a different deal.
Oh, this is a different one.
This is that
Oh,
STP, rural,
You're
local
right.
for Mud Lake, so
It's 2 million statewide.
Got it.
2 million statewide. Yeah, so it's, he just thought it would be a needle in a haystack to try to do this. Brian kind of wavered on it, but I don't, again, if we pay Corey to do it, then we don't get it. It's, the chances are slim on that one. So I think it probably makes more sense to look at the LRIP for that next cycle.
Okay.
I don't know, we don't need to make a decision on that tonight, so. New business, discussion or decision of Wisconsin Towns Advocacy Council contribution.
It was 500 and something, right?
Yeah.
Going into the,
$554.25 is the annual dues.
make a motion that we, join the town advocacy council for $554.25.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision of resolution for intergovernmental agreement with Cambridge Fire EMS. You want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, I guess, you guys all have the amended copy, the corrected copy, and you have a copy of the resolution. Robert had mentioned, to me about maybe sending it to our attorney for a look. I really don't know if that's necessary because this, it's been done by, commission's attorney. I guess my only thought is, we do not have to go in.
Yes.
We can take in consideration what the other firefighters had said and what Terry said here tonight. I think there's a couple of details we do need to iron out, and I agree with you, Terry, when I walked in the room for that commission meeting, I thought, whoa, what's this? So I think my opinion is, if you guys don't feel comfortable in moving this thing forward, I'm okay with it, and so is the chair of the commission. I guess, and that's what I would recommend, that we want to take a look at the other responses that Terry had, and give us, as a commission, a chance to, air out some of the differences.
So Dave, did you know anything about that prior to that night?
No, I saw it on the agenda when it was sent out 2 days before the meeting, and that was it. I did know about the alcohol and drug one, that one was gonna be coming down the road. The other one, surprise.
Well, I just had a comment that I didn't think that,
I'll let him
Okay.
heavily weigh here.
I didn't think the commission or one commissioner had the opportunity to contact a lawyer and spend the money to write that up without approval from the commission.
Yeah, and that would be something that we need to discuss that.
And then, in our biggest gripe, there was no input from the fire department.
Correct.
And actually no input from the rest of the commission.
Correct. We heard the same time as you heard. So,
Right, quite disturbing.
right. So that's my recommendation. Jim, you got a thought?
Yeah, I'd just soon commission here, the fire department. Before I'm gonna vote to approve it,
Yeah.
at least work out. I don't want half the fire department put it in the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
I think that's a fair thing to do.
The other, I sent you a couple corrections.
Yes, and I passed those along.
Well, they didn't change them, so
They
I'm
didn't.
just kind of wondering why. Well, under duties and authority, item E, implementing and enforcing its responsibilities under this agreement, including receiving the EMS/fire chief's advice. Now, is there gonna be an EMS chief and a fire chief and a district EMS fire chief?
Yeah, because
There
they
is?
would be under the district chief. You're still gonna have, I don't know, but I'm a little confused too. Are they gonna be assistant chiefs or?
Well, yeah,
gonna
you
be
would,
Fire chiefs?
you
or-
would think they would be assistant chiefs or something rather than
That was
chief.
my thought. And I raised that question, Terry, at the meeting, what that flow chart was gonna look like. I guess,
It give you a very vague answer.
Correct. yeah,
Well, right, the whole document or amendment is written around the district EMS/fire chief. And then this paragraph and H, they do not have district. H is approving the hiring or the appointment of EMS and fire department employees, not volunteers and other district employees for positions authorized by the municipalities upon the EMS/fire chief's recommendation. So it sounds like the way the document's written, there is going to be a EMS chief and a fire chief, and then a district EMS fire chief. That's the way it's written right now, but if they don't want that, then they should be adding district EMS fire chief in front of those. And maybe, maybe it's right the way it is. Maybe there is going to be a chief in each department and then a head honcho district.
My,
I'd like to have that answered.
Well, it'd be nice to have a flow chart.
but that's what I was
I mean,
finding.
a pictorial flow chart. That's what, and
because I'm assuming, but the EMS chief right now, he's actually the EMS director reporting to the old IGA, or the current IGA, but he gets paid quite a sum of money, and I don't believe the commission will hire somebody at a higher amount of money to go over. Unless I'm wrong.
I don't know, that topic or discussion has not came up. I mean, I would assume the same thing, but
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, our fire chief currently gets $2,000 a year, so it's.
No wonder you're retired.
okay, the thing I have to say on this is I completely agree that. When I looked at this the actual services agreement form, there was something in there that caught my eye. That's why I think when you brought up that flow chart thing, that hits the nail on the head is this, this section, whereas the Cambridge Community Fire EMS Commission believes that combining the position of EMS director and fire chief in a district EMS fire chief will make district operations more unified, result in potential cost savings. Well, potential, I mean, the whole reason for doing something is that we're going to see cost savings, and efficiencies and unification and all that stuff. So I think the word potential just needs to come out of that document. I won't sign it without that coming out. I mean, I know why they use the word, because you can have incurred costs,
Right.
but it has no business being in this document is what they're trying to do here.
What I'd like to see happen is that you have a meeting with, you're gonna have them separate, but have a meeting with the Cambridge Fire Department, get those things ironed out, and then have a meeting
Yeah.
with the towns and have us be able to go over this document and ask questions. I mean, maybe you're supposed to be our in-between man, but
That was their offer to have the attorney and also the chair to come to the town board meetings to address all of those.
The chair of each town?
No, a chair of the commission,
Oh,
which is Mark Cook.
Could they-
why can't it be a meeting where you invite the towns? Sit down and
Oh,
go over this document?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Are they afraid of people?
no, I don't think so.
Well, that would be my suggestion.
It's my assumption, I think it's correct, that President Cook and the attorney would come to each individual municipality and present it at your town meeting.
Well, then I guess that would work too, but, you know, one way or the other, I think we need to be able to ask some questions, I thought.
Okay, we're not doing anything.
No, with table,
Make a motion to table.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries to table this. See, discussion or decision of annual animal control contract with the Humane Society of Jefferson County.
See, if we pay, which we've done in the past, paid right up front, right?
Correct, yeah,
Which is,
$5,655.90, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we pay the 1-year annual fee to the Humane Society for animal control of $5,655.90.
I would second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision of the town of Lake Mills Police Chief position. I think we're gonna be doing something later on.
I think we just need to note that that's what the plan is, that we are going into closed session on. this.
We'll be going into closed session to just discuss the whole situation on the police chief position. Discussion or decision of revisit leftover road funds from Courth Lane. All right, I put this back on here, not to punish you guys, but me and Brian went and looked at Courth. Well, we looked at a couple of things. We looked at those manholes over on Bridle Path. Just some little sections of road that we could burn up the $5,000 with from that leftover Courth Lane deal that was slated for Mud Lake Road, I think. And then we went over to Courth Highlands in Helena. There's just a couple small sections of road that are really bad there. And then there's one cul-de-sac that never got finished. Still gravel on both sides.
Oh,
Courth Highlands.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the end.
And so Brian's like, he's just kind of, like, you guys should use this money, you know? Like if we could transfer, use it and we'll, the county will try to get in there and get it done and then we would just pay the county for the remainder. So what I have to get some costs from him, but his advice was to use the money. And I kind of agree with him in a way because, when you don't use the money and it goes back to the state, then they just shake their head because
Yeah, I know.
they got to deal with small accounting and that doesn't make you look real good either. So I'm just wondering if we should change gears on this and
Well, if they can get it done, but it's gotta be done by.
by June
end of
23.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And he thought that would be feasible on something like that.
Do you
The
have
the only
kind of a
other,
priority list of the projects? Is that?
Well, we talked about Bridle Path and he was not very happy with what went on there. Well, I mean, and I know that road never got finished the right way. There's no question about that. There was a second layer that was never put on. But he said he was gonna talk to the city to see if they can take a ring out of those manholes.
Because
Drop them down.
it's a big issue for plowing.
Yeah.
It costs them extra time to navigate that every time it trips the plow.
And I know like like that first phase or whatever, that whole deal, I know they were not involved in that part of it, but this is the whole problem with developers. Like you don't sign off on anything until they finish the job because, now it's going to cost the town a lot of money. It's going to have to at some point probably be a rebuild. There's no base and stinks. So I think we need to Do we
Okay.
need to rescind our previous motion that we weren't?
Yeah, because you
using?
said to send it back, so
Yeah.
I would say you should, yes.
Make a motion that we rescind the previous motion at the previous meeting about sending the money back to the state.
Second.
Other discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, say nay, motion carries to rescind.
You want to do bridle path?
And no, we do, well, we won't have, it would be the choice of the small sections of Court Highlands.
The only question I have about Court Highlands is that Corey sent an email.
Yeah, I saw that.
Question the road, was it ever dedicated, or where does it end? I guess it's not on Whistler maps, the whole to the end?
To the end where that house is, but it doesn't make any sense because it's a taxpayer there,
I know.
that house.
So I don't know how that ever happened. I mean, Court Highlands was done way before.
Was that taken right now?
I thought so, but if you weren't, I'll dig it back up. on
Okay.
the archives.
I might just not remember it, but if you could.
Yes.
So I'm sure it's a dedicated road. I guess I would just, if the county's gonna do it, verify that where the cul-de-sac's supposed to be per survey, per dedicated road. So we're not paving half of Court Park, I guess.
Oh, no.
I don't know where it ends.
Oh, well, it's not. I mean, that cul-de-sac is ours. I mean,
I know, but-
plow's got to turn around to plow it. We maintain it.
I understand that, but I guess there's gotta be a plat of that subdivision showing where that's
Showing where it is on
located.
the map.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
so we
agree.
get it in the right place, not
Okay, well, I can talk to
on
Corey
somebody's
about that.
property. Otherwise,
We don't need an approval on which project we're gonna do. It's more of just that we're gonna use the funds.
I make a motion that we use the funds to the 5,000 some odd dollars funds to complete a few projects yet before end of June 2023.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision of boundary agreement with the city of Lake Mills. All right, I talked to Eric about this, and so I'm just bringing it back up. Just because the city attorney said it was a bad idea for us to not go back into it. There's pros and cons, as Eric said. Their firm actually has litigated the most of these probably in the state of Wisconsin, and successfully. But he said essentially he could rewrite the document as is, or just, recycle the document. He said it doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna agree to it. Which means you, at that point, go into a negotiation, which would probably cost legal fees. If we don't do anything, we get the 5 years of state money or whatever, and you already know that part, versus the 20. So, I mean, it's really weighing economics, which is very difficult on this one.
I guess the issue is that the reason I'm not interested in pursuing it is, the previous city's administration, along with their,
Right.
Mead and Hunt, I don't know what I forget what his zoning administrator, city zoning administrator, overstepped the bounds by going after people on Sandy Beach Road, Highland,
Yeah,
over in that end of town, where they had no business being. This boundary agreement only refers to the north growth area.
Growth area.
Which is Highway V and a few properties north of the interstate. But they started sticking their nose in here, and it costs this guy down in the end of Sandy Beach Road $2,000-3,000 to fight him in court, and he won. And then they harassed a guy for trying to drill a well down here that's in the town. I told him to just drill your well. If you can get a permit, drill the well. So he did, and he won that one too. And then the guy on Pine Street over there, where that gas station is, he sued the city too, and he won. So they just overstepped their authority.
oh, I don't disagree with
And then he
that.
tried to control the locker and the camper place out on HD
Yeah.
Harley.
Yep.
That's his latest.
That was
That
his
was Steve
strong-
Wilkie again.
That was strong.
So if they would abide by the agreement and not get their zoning administrator from Mead and Hunt riling people up, I would be a little bit better about it, but they don't know how to keep their nose in their lane.
Well, he's gone now, so.
Yeah, I know Wilkie is, but the zoning administrator's still there. Brian, you ever talk to him? It's a joy. Anyway.
Well, anyways, I just wanted to hear what you had to say. He said there are pros to, there's some pros to having it. Cause it does give you a little bit of protection, versus just this regular state statute. But,
Yeah, and-
is it, gonna be worthwhile? I mean, if we send something over to them and, they don't like it, and then we end up in this legal battle again, and it ends up it may cost us more money than it's worth. I don't know. That's part I don't know, I guess. And maybe it would go smooth then.
That's my opinion.
Danny, anything?
No, I agree with Jim. Yeah, because they even were all the way out past your house. With, when Holman's wanted to, put
Yeah.
in the driveway and build, it's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing out here?
Well, we already made a decision on it, so we don't have to do anything else. I just wanted to.
Jennifer Johnson too.
Yep, Jenny, they held her up a couple months.
Yeah.
All right.
They still have plat review, they just don't have zoning authority.
Yeah, okay. All right, we're moving on then. Correspondence.
Nothing major. Sorry, I went for,
Discussion.
sorry, correction. So we want to remind people that John's Disposal Service is now switching to the bulk pickup, which will be a call-in service. They need to call John's Disposal, not the town, to set up and schedule a bulk pickup for the items. There's no longer going to be a once-a-month pickup, either on the Monday or Tuesday routes. And this is in hopes to eliminate the need or the occurrence of garbage sitting at the curb for weeks on end, which is continuing to happen on a regular basis, and it also prevents missed pickups when everybody puts their garbage out and maybe the truck doesn't go down a dead end road and misses it. So they have it as a record to be picked up. They can document that, make sure it gets picked up in a timely manner. They can control what's getting picked up, so there's not violations of, electronics being put out or too many tires and things like that, so.
No, is there still gonna be a 3-month grace period, or was it gonna be?
Yeah, but obviously we need to encourage people to follow
Correct.
right from the get-go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
All the information's on the website, it went out in the tax bills, people are notified. So,
Awesome.
The only comment I have is that when you call down to John's, you can't pick your day. They're gonna tell you some dates that are available.
right,
And you can
Right.
select one of those dates. Because they want to try to
You got a
group
good
roads.
right, they're trying to work efficiently.
Yeah, well, that's savings to the town.
I just don't think that was clear in the notice, but whatever. I don't want Robin to get.
I don't want the phone
100
calls.
calls a day.
I'm not the one scheduling it.
Right.
Okay, discussion of future agenda items.
Okay, so what I have noted is the renewal of the CD, the public hearing for the ordinances regarding the municipal records retention schedule and the chicken ordinance, and then the election workers' wage. What other items on the agenda that are currently on there that you'd like to see carry over?
You were gonna put the, discussion or decision for the resolution of the intergovernmental agreement, you were gonna put that on, correct?
That's a tabled one, yeah.
So anything that's tabled, do you want to continue on? Do you want to do that?
Except the
Except for
EMS.
the Lake Mills EMS, right?
Yep, that-
How about the AIS citizens?
Yeah. We said a future meeting. I don't know if you can bring it back that quick.
Probably February, we're probably aiming for that.
So not that one yet. Okay,
They did have one request for that funding mechanism from the JRLC, but I'll have to have Wendy send me more information on that.
okay. Yeah, I don't see anything else at this point, so, okay.
That's, well, depending on what comes out of our closed session.
Right.
Well, and we'll have to take a look. I don't know if we'll be able to
Okay.
discuss a road one in January quite yet, but probably February is just, there's gonna be some cracks in it and stuff that we need to group together this year. But we're gonna have to look at those costs. The costs we already had out the window with the loan and everything, so. All right, meeting schedule, January 3rd, 2023, Plan Commission meeting, 7 PM, Town Hall. The January 5th, 2023, Parks Committee meeting, 7 PM, Town Hall. January 5th, Joint Rock Lake Committee meeting, 6 PM at City Hall. January 10th, 2023, Town Board meeting, 7 PM at the Town Hall. January 12th, 2023, Town Hall Facilities Committee meeting, 6 PM at the Town Hall.
Tentatively, January 24th for the open house for the town hall facility, the conceptual plans. We also tentatively have a closed session for this coming Thursday, the 15th at 3:30, in regards to negotiation. We'll state the statute and get posted and such, for negotiation of the land in the town hall current facility.
You're gonna confirm that then?
Yes, I will confirm it.
Okay.
I do have a confirmation from Forrest already to be able to attend, so we should be good. I just gotta
Okay.
get posted.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right.
Now, when you go into the next section, make sure you read the state statute as well as under each state statute what we're gonna be discussing, please.
Okay. Should I sort of get get a motion first for it and then read it?
Yeah, so it'd be a motion to move into closed session and
Yep.
then you read that.
I'll make a motion to, we move into closed session.
I would second that motion.
The town board will move into closed session under statute 19.85, Wisconsin statutes. The nature of business to be considered in the closed session is following: considering employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility pursuant to statute 19.85, Wisconsin statute amendment in reference to item number 17 below. Convene into closed session under Wisconsin statute 19.85 for the reason of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is running oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The town board will be adjourning at the end of the closed session.
Amendment in reference to item number 18 below.
Amendment in reference to item number 18 below.
Thank you. And then we need to, continue on reading because we need to list who's going to be in these closed sessions, please.
The town board will approve the persons to be allowed to enter and remain in the approved closed session, subject to individual or group removal of any person from the closed session at any time by majority vote of the town board members present and voting in the closed session. The town board will reconvene in open session and then adjourn the special meeting. So we will have Nick Selk in the meeting. Looks like Captain Mays, is that Captain Mays? Do I remember your name correctly? And Sheriff Paul Milbrath.
Okay.
And it'll be Dave, myself, Jim, Robin, Sharon.
Okay.
Very good.
Question? No. Okay. Okay.
You can't stay,
Good
Greg.
to see
Yeah, you
Oh, I
can't say
know.
Greg.
I'm glad you're having a-
I just wanted to make sure you were.
Wait, do you want chicken or?
Listen.
Have a happy holidays.
It's on the town hall facilities.